This video will take a look at the IO Relationship Interpreter programs. Let's start by opening our IO Interpreter. And you notice I said programs because IO Relationship actually contains three different ways to calculate relationship charts. A composite, standard composite, relationship, which is a Davison composite, includes a geographic midpoint with the planetary midpoints in its calculations, and standard synastry. Let's start with the synastry. This is a setup window. Each of the three has a different setup window for obvious reasons. Now, if I were to open this, let's close it again. You notice that both of them said here and now perhaps. If I were to select a natal chart that I've already saved, click on it one time to highlight it, we'll select Hillary Clinton. She's in the news again, of course. And we go back up to relationship and we select synastry. The synastry setup window opens with Hillary Clinton as the primary chart. You see her data here. Now we can pick another save chart from our list. Let's pick Jeb Bush. I can click down on his name and hold, and then I can drag it up to the second window and let go. Now in a synastry setup you might want to determine which chart you want in the primary window, because that will establish the house system. So if I wanted Jeb's 2, then I could put him over here. So you might play with that and determine which you prefer. Now, a couple things about this window. You see this little button that says editable? What this refers to, if you click it, what will happen is it will create a folder in your IO Files folder inside Documents of all the text used in the text database to create these reports, which means that you can go in and actually edit or change the text yourself if you choose to. I'll warn you, it's quite a task if you were to do it all, because there can be hundreds or even thousands of files that you have to change. But some astrologers do it. Some actually have multiple databases, so they can select the text that they want to send to a particular client. If you wanted to edit the individual reports, I'll show you that in just a moment. Now in the synastry setup you have short and long option. The short option is preferred for if you are using charts that you know the time of birth. If you don't, the long is preferred because it has more explanation that applies to unknown birth times. So in this case I'm going to select long, and you see that my report instantly opens. Now, a couple things about the reports. If you're familiar with our programs, you're probably already familiar with these buttons at the top. If you're not, let's look at them. There are 5 preset buttons. Each one is set with a different set of fonts, colors, font colors, page colors, margin settings. There's one set for two-sided printing, and you can also change these. You can do whatever you'd like with them. Now you do that by clicking the Format button, and in that window you can select the header font from any of the fonts in your system. You can select the body font. For each of these two you can select the size of the font. You can also select the color. So you can actually get quite creative with these. You can select the glyph font. That means the planetary glyphs and aspect grids and so on that you want to use. Now IO Wizardry is the standard font set shipped with all of the programs. Some of you may have purchased additional font set like the Pendragon fonts. You can select those if you have. And again, you select the color. You can also select the background color of the page. Let me warn you though, if you're printing, you do not want some bold, bright colors because you're going to use up a lot of cartridge. But if you're saving these as PDFs or HTML and you're putting them on, or you're sending them to people to view on screen, then you can select whatever colors you want, of course. And you have a variety of options here for determining your colors. You can set your margins based on inches, centimeters, or points. You can determine if you want the cover page selected. If you don't, you turn it off and it will not produce the cover page for that particular button. Remember, each of the 5 buttons is separate, so once you've set the parameters for a button, it will be applied to all of your reports that you create. You can determine if you do a cover page, if you want the zodiac displayed, and if you want the prepared by information displayed. In this case it's ours, of course, but with your installation it would be your information. And you just click OK, and that change would always apply to that button. I'm going to cancel it here and just go back to through the buttons. Now there's an optional quote-unquote cover page that you can use with this. In this case, it's a Synastry grid. You go to Designs at the top of your screen. Under Designs, you go to Cover Pages. We're looking for the Synastry cover page, and there we have the Synastry grid. Now you can also open a chart if you'd like by simply going to your favorites or designs and select a by wheel. And again, if we have to put our friends in it, we need to put Jeb in here. But again, remember we created the report with Hillary as a primary, so we'd hit the swap button. We now have Hillary as the reference chart in the center. Okay, and again too, the buttons each apply to a set of colors and color preferences. Now these you would set in your preference settings. Under IO Interpreter, you select Preferences, you'd go to Colors, and here you can control the page color of charts, because this applies to charts throughout the system, not just for the interpreter program. The chart color, the wheel color itself, and the text color lets you select any color for the fonts for the particular planetary glyphs or whatever that you want, so each one can be separate. We'll do another video that shows you how to address that in the future. So we have the chart, we have the grid if you prefer the grid, which is easier for people to understand and read, though some people like to see the chart, and you have the report. Now what I'm about to say applies to these across the board. I'm going to close the chart because we're not going to use that, and we're not going to use the grid. Now if I wanted to edit this individual report, which I can also do the report, not just the database, then I can save it. I go to File, Save, and I can save it in a number of formats. RTF or Microsoft Word will hold the formatting, and you can open either in your Pages or Word or whatever word processing program that you prefer and like to use. As text, it's saved it just as text. No formatting. HTML is for web use primarily, but you can save those. I've already saved the Synastry report from previous work, and PDF is the best format to send to the average client. Okay, so to save as PDF, you'd go to File, select Print. When the print window opens, you see in the bottom left hand corner PDF. Select Save as PDF. Now if you're using a POP3 account, and if you don't know what that is, just go ahead and Google it and look it up and you'll know if you have one or not. If you have a POP3 account, you can actually mail directly from the program, but I'm going to save as a PDF. Again, it's already named, but I can change this name if I choose by simply typing Hillary and Jeb Synastry, and I'm saving it wherever I choose. Do not save it to your charts folder. That's not where you want to be saving things. To your desktop, you can create a folder of your own for your desktop or in your documents. I'm going to save it to the desktop again. Now I've already saved one, and here we have the report saved as a PDF. If I double click it, it'll open in preview. Oops, triple clicked it, didn't I? It'll open in preview in my program, but every system out there has Adobe Reader on it now, and Adobe Reader will open this, and it's a safe file to send to people. So that's the Synastry window. Now we're going to go up and we're going to open the standard composite. Now most of what I just said applies to everything, all of the setup windows. So you see I had Jeb Bush selected. You'll see him highlighted here. Jeb opens up as the primary, and this I'm going to then come down and I'm going to grab Hillary and put her in here. Now in the composite setup, I have again a short and long option. You can determine which you prefer, which text you prefer. Which text you prefer. Mercury and Venus, of course, with their positions close to the Sun, you can end up with different results. If you click this, it moves it in nearer the Sun. Some people believe that that's a better way to do it. You can have ascendant-based composite or MC-based. If you do MC-based, you can select derived houses and angles. If you're doing that, you need to select how that's going to be calculated. Average of the two charts, using the first person's chart, second person's chart, or you can actually relocate, which is what I've selected here. So I would enter the location where I want to relocate the chart to and have it calculated from. I'd enter the city and the state, and again you can use abbreviations for the state or the country if you're outside the US. And then, very important, you need to click the Atlas button. The Atlas window will open up. The proper place will be highlighted. If it's not that place, then select from the list which place it is and click Insert. But now you've made sure that the program has put in not just the proper longitude and latitude, but the proper time zone information. So I'm ready to go. I will click the short on this in this case, and there's my report. And we've gone through the formatting. We've gone through how to save them as PDFs, how to export or save them so you can edit them. And we'll look at the cover page for this, the alternate cover page under Designs. We're going to Cover Pages. We're going to select Composite. And there we have the composite chart for Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton, the created by information. In another video, we'll show you how you can actually make all sorts of changes in the layout of the page, what's on the page, but that's for another video. So we've completed the composite. We're not going to save this chart. We're not saving that. So the composite setup is complete. Finish that. Now, last but not least, we'll go to relationship, which is again a different type of composite chart calculation. It includes a geographic midpoint as well as the planetary midpoints. In calculating these, you can choose either Great Circle or the average. We see our editable buttons already selected. We are missing Jeb, so we're going to actually do something different. We're going to create a new chart. So I'm going to File, create a new chart, because I want to show you how you can enter from a new chart. From the data card, I've selected the natal chart. I can select a sunrise chart if I don't know the time, of course. I've selected my zodiac, and I've selected my house system from the 15 that are available to you. I'm going to enter the person's name, and we'll call this Bob. And I'm tabbing from field to field. I'll show you why in a moment. Bob Test. I'm entering the date. Now I can either enter the date spelling out June, or I can just do 06, which I'm going to do 06. And if I'm in Euro format, and my computer is set to Euro format for our European customers, then it will calculate accordingly. So 06, 23.967, and I'm hitting Tab, and you see that it completed the data entry for me and formatted it for my machine, which is US dating. For time, it's the same thing. 11:08 a.m. or p.m. and I hit Tab. You do not put in the time zone. I'll show you why in a moment. So I formatted that properly. I'll put in the city. Let's put in Philadelphia. Tab, PA, or the country. Now, I've told the program what type of chart it is. I've given it all the information, who, when, where. So I'm going to click the Atlas button, which does a variety of things. Number one, it selects the hospital, which is alright, but I'm going to select Philadelphia General. I'm going to insert. It puts in the proper universal time and date. It puts in the proper longitude and latitude, and you'll note it puts in the proper time zone for the date and the location. Now I can save this and put it in my list, and I could always drag it over from there, but there's another thing. You see when I put my cursor in an area where there's no text, it becomes a hand with a blue sheet behind it. Now if I click down and hold, I can pull that up into the setup window, let go, and I have Bob Test there. Now I'm not going to save this because I don't want Bob Test in my client's file. I'm going to close it, not save it. And we want Jeb up there, so we're going back over and click Jeb, drag him here. And now we're ready to create the report. In this case, I'm going to click Long. I've got my report. If I want my alternate cover page, I go to Designs. Under Cover Pages, I select Relationship, and I have my relationship chart. Saving these as PDF files is the absolute best way to go. With a chart wheel, you can actually export as a JPEG as well if you wanted to pull it into a graphics program or use it as a graphic in something else, some other work that you're doing. But PDF is the best way to send them to clients or customers or friends or family or whomever. So that's our relationship program. There's a lot of flexibility in it, and if you have questions about it, always call us or email us. We're glad to help you with your questions, and enjoy your program. Thank you.